There's not a whit of difference in the New Testament. Belief and faith are used. Uh, it comes from the same Greek word, pistos, and in the verb form pistuo. And there are others, pathos, and that are also used as something that I've been convinced to believe and am obedient to whatever it is. Anyway, they're the same words. So I come down there and I learned something. I learned that signs, wonders, and miracles. Jesus was. Well, let me bring it back up to you. I learned that he was approved of God by the mighty works that he did right in your midst. Now, it's true you killed him by crucifixion, by the use of the hands of wicked men. But even this was according to the plan of God. Did you notice that? Watch this carefully. Him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God. You think you did it on your own. God's determinate counsel and foreknowledge. And that's an interesting phrase, the way it goes, boule and prognosis. These terms are very interesting. A counsel, but it's also a determinate counsel. This is a counsel that God has made that ain't nothing, there's no change ever going to be with regard to it. No matter what man does, Jesus was going to die at Calvary. And God would use whatever means he wanted to. He would use vessels of honor. He would use vessels of dishonor, such as Judas. But he has determined that it's going to happen, and it will happen. And it was according to his foreknowledge. God knew from the beginning of the world how he was going to go about saving man, and made a determinate counsel in order to do so. And according to his counsel, as he always had it planned, though you don't know that at the time when you're doing it. You didn't know it at the time that it was happening because you weren't doing it in order to fulfill God's counsel as far as your own thoughts and hearts are concerned. But you took him and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Oh, yeah, you used the Romans to do it, but it was you. They're wicked men, and I grant that, but it was you. There's an entire new doctrine coming out, and its purpose, this new doctrine's purpose, is to not be anti-Semitic. And so people are saying, well, it wasn't the Jews that crucified Jesus. The Jews didn't crucify Jesus, the Romans did. You can't blame us Jews for crucifying Jesus because the Romans crucified Jesus. Well, Peter says, you have taken and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Who's the person responsible behind it? Who are the people? Notice it's a ye. That's Jewish people. And someone said, well, that's just anti-Semitic. Well, I tell you what, if teaching the truth is anti-Semitic and agreeing with Peter is anti-Semitic, you can call me whatever you want. You can use your terms or anything else you want to use. I don't care. The Bible says it. You did it. There are brethren in the church today taking up this mantra of it wasn't the Jews, it was the Romans. I don't know when they're going. By the way, later on, you'll find that the Apostle Peter and the apostles themselves will actually seek to bring the blood of this man upon Israel, and they recognize it and tell them to shut up and don't preach it anymore. And this is a part of them saying so. Him being delivered by the determinate counsel and knowledge of God, you have taken, and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Yeah, you used the Romans to do it, but you're behind it. Whom God has raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be held by it. Death cannot hold him. So it's true you killed him by crucifixion, by the use of wicked hands, but God rectified that situation. Number one, all of this was according to the plan of God, and even now God overrode your decision. He's risen from the dead. He's risen from the dead. You cannot thwart the plan of God. It cannot be done. It's the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God. And by the way, when it talks about foreknowledge, the idea would also include the people that he would use. He foreknew. He didn't foreordain Judas' personality and character, but he foreknew it and had him as a part of that. And there's a big difference in the two concepts. There's a big difference between the two. The scriptures which tell you of the coming Messiah and his kingdom are being fulfilled before your very eyes.